Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Getting ready to start with the presentation. Welcome to the Master of Liberal Arts virtual info session. It'd be really nice to have a chance to connect with some of you, answer some questions about the Master of Liberal Arts, talk about your interests, and make sure that we can give you all the information you need to make an informed decision about where you want to go next and if the MLA is right for you. So let me welcome you to University of Pennsylvania College of Liberal and Professional Studies and the Master of Liberal Arts program. I'm Chris Pastore. I'm the director of the program. I've been the director for about 15 years, and I'm joined by Amy Mulhern, who's one of our recruitment specialists. So she's going to manage the chat, but also will oftentimes be communicating with students who are interested in investigating more about the MLA and our other programs. If you have any questions, you can certainly type them in the chat, and then we'll keep track of them along the way. I may answer some of your questions as I go through the slides and the presentation, but otherwise we can do Q&A afterwards and make sure that you know all the things you need to know, and we have a good sense of just exactly how you can take advantage of this opportunity. So, welcome to Penn, the School of Arts and Sciences, the LPS, and MLA. A lot of initials to remember. I'll explain where this all comes together and how everybody fits in as we go forward. Just a few things to remember about the MLA, right? It's a 9-course unit program. Penn doesn't do credit hours. We do 9 course units. So each course is basically a class is a course unit. So I teach art history. If you were to take my art 505 this coming fall, that's 1 course unit. You need 9 graduate level course units to complete the degree. And you can do this full-time, part-time, on campus, and additionally, you can do some of our coursework online. So there are some students who have started to pursue this program or finished up largely from a distance for work reasons. In the MLA, it's an interdisciplinary, individualized program. So you create your own course of study inside the liberal arts, inside the arts and sciences, that is unique to you based on the graduate course offerings that are delivered in the School of Arts and Sciences, in LPS on the MLA roster in the evening, daytime PhD and MA courses, and even potentially graduate courses at other schools at Penn. And this theme of concentration is basically built around your specific interests and should be relevant to the outcomes you're hoping to take away from the program. So it's like a create your own major program, but at the grad level. As you take your courses, the idea is to explore this in the true spirit of liberal arts and learn multiple approaches to information, different disciplinary methodologies, different ways of asking and answering questions, different approaches to writing and research. And then you use all of those different methodologies that you explore to answer the driving question that's fundamental to your concentration. And then you complete that process with a final MLA capstone paper, which is your interdisciplinary final paper that is the final degree requirement of the program. Now, why would you do an MLA? Well, a lot of people have a lot of different reasons. We've had something over 900 students, I think, do the program and finish the degree since it started in 1992. It's a little over 25 years old now in terms of the number. When the earliest degree was earned, I think in 1993, if I remember correctly. Personal and career reasons. This could just be something you always wanted to explore, some ideas that you never did in school before, or you did in undergrad 20 years ago and you want to revisit, or it could be really relevant to what you're doing professionally, whether we're talking about from an academic point of view, intellectual point of view, or for other ways of developing your skill set, communications, critical thinking, all the other great tools that a liberal arts education can help you refine and develop. You might do an MLA degree as opposed to just taking classes for fun, because then you can create a focused program of study. It's yours, it's unique, it's individualized. But what you do is make it your own, and the process of building that program, developing that concentration, connecting the courses, explaining it to yourself and others, and then developing that capstone project can be really fulfilling because it's very project oriented in that regard. It's a great opportunity to network, really at the highest intellectual level here at Penn with like-minded, self-motivated graduate students in the Master of Liberal Arts program, other grad students, advanced undergraduate students perhaps, and faculty, both standing faculty and affiliated faculty here at the university. It's a flexible program. That's another great reason to do an MLA versus many of the MAs that are cohort-based and full-time, because we have full-time and part-time. Probably 90% of our students are or have been part-time, doing this 1 course a term, maybe 2 courses a year, maybe 6 courses a year over 2 years. And that is really kind of great because there aren't a whole lot of part-time options, especially at a place as top flight as Penn. It's a great professional credential. So, if you're in your career and you're bumping up against the professional degree required or preferred, the MLA is a great way to have fun, learn some things that are really important to you intellectually, personally, and at the same time get that Ivy League master's that you need that could help you in your career. And by doing it here at Penn, it's going to be a much more rigorous, challenging, and ultimately rewarding, fulfilling program in terms of what you do in the classroom, what you do here in terms of your research, how you develop your program, the classes you take, who you're in those classes with, and then what you can take outside on at the next level. This is a research institution. We're a huge R1 according to Carnegie, right? But we're all as our designation, but we're also an Ivy League institution that has an unparalleled library system, over 20 library facilities on campus with 11 million volumes, online resources, people here to help you develop your career, develop your research institutes. The main resource, though, is the human capital. The students, the faculty, the staff are all not just impressive people, but people that are really all here to help push knowledge forward. And you can be part of that process of growing knowledge. You're not just coming to receive knowledge. As a grad student, you're really helping grow disciplines. Every time you're in a classroom with a faculty member in a grad seminar, you're helping push the ball forward, and that's really rewarding. 12 schools at Penn, School of Arts and Sciences, which is the oldest sort of home of the institution, and the 11 professional schools, and the excellent faculty connect teaching and research. So you're really all about doing things that are on the cutting edge. What you're doing in the classroom is either pushing research agenda forward or built very immediately on new and very recent developments in those faculty members' research, which is really exciting. You can challenge yourself and explore the liberal arts in breadth and depth. So you have 26 departments, 20 plus interdisciplinary programs in the School of Arts and Sciences, wide range of graduate courses across the whole gamut of the liberal arts, as well as other graduate professional programs, interdisciplinary programs, and those programs at the other professional schools, all of which can be grist for the mill for you as you develop your program. The faculty expertise is unparalleled, and that's really something that's spectacular because you're not just going to go ask and answer questions on your own terms the way you would if you're in a book group. You're really going to come in here and be able to sit alongside and help develop ideas with some of the greatest faculty and scholars operating in your field today. We also, as I said, allow you to develop your own unique individualized concentration, which you declare effectively as your major. We review that based on the courses you're taking and approve it to go in your transcript. There are also a number of other certificate options that you can pursue in addition to that concentration or as your concentration. These range from cultural heritage management to cinema and media studies to gender studies and women's studies and other things of that sort, which is really kind of fun and exciting. And then at the end of all of this, your MLA capstone is this unique opportunity for you to apply the strategies you develop and actually create your own better mousetrap and run it up the flagpole and get your 2 readers to approve your research, your writing, and this final capstone, which is really rewarding, a way to finish your degree. As you can see from this list of recent concentrations, people do a lot of really wonderful things in the MLA, and there's a pretty broad range of things, ranging from environmental studies, to art and society, international relations, museum curatorial practice, behavioral studies, and a new one, Aaron Bachowski, is doing something on the concept of democratizing the economy, really timely, really fascinating. He's doing a mix of courses in urban studies, sociology, and anthropology. He's really looking at this as how does what we do every day in our transactional world of the economy reflect our ideology and affect behaviors, which is really kind of cool. We also have students doing creative writing, which is kind of cool. We're hoping in the process of developing a certificate in creative writing. We've got some early approvals for that. So that's in, let's say, the phases of development. But we are a great opportunity also for students who are interested in not just liberal arts, but also the specific zone inside liberal arts of creative writing. There's no MFA here at Penn in writing, but you can actually pursue an MLA, take courses in content areas and workshops in creative writing, and do a creative capstone at the end. That can be a really great opportunity for many students, because otherwise you might want to do an MFA, you're going to have to go to a full-time program, especially if you're from Philadelphia, leave the city and do nothing but writing, whereas the MLA is a kind of cool alternative path towards exploring writing at the graduate level. The capstone, as I said, is the way to sort of finish what you start, right? You start out, maybe let's think of the 9 course units as 3 course unit chunks. First 3, you're exploring. Try to figure out what you like in the liberal arts, things that are most fascinating to you. Get yourself going, up to speed with graduate level research and writing and all those things. Then you maybe do the middle 3 as the way you define in terms of what your concentration really is, right? What's your major? And then the last 3 to get to 9 will be building that capstone project, filling gaps, refining ideas, and writing that capstone, oftentimes done as the 9th course unit, either in our capstone seminar or as a capstone independent study project. So I'm going to talk about a couple of fairly recent capstones to give you an idea of what this kind of means in practice. So Brad Richards, who had a career, he got a degree in liberal arts as an undergrad, then he went and got an MBA and ran a chemical company for a number of years. But he decided to shift gears later on because he wanted to go in a new direction. And he came back to Penn and started working at Penn as an administrator in student affairs and in development. But he decided he wanted to go back to something that was near and dear to his heart, which was art history. He wanted to actually look at art history, collecting, and the rise of art as a commodity in the contemporary idiom, to see how those things all fed off one another, and what was the historical root of this idea that things like art have this interesting transactional value. This connected to a lot of his own interests in art personally, but also in the history of art and the history of cultural heritage, if you will. So he started tackling the very interesting developments in Philadelphia, the local issue surrounding Jefferson Hospital's the decision to sell the extremely valuable painting that was part of their collection, Thomas Eakins, famous Philadelphia painter's Gross Clinic. Samuel Gross was a early pioneer in operating technique and taught classes at Jefferson, so he's part of their legacy as an institution in the city of Philadelphia in the medical sciences and in healthcare. But Jefferson realized they had a painting that was conservatively valued, in the millions of dollars, that they thought they could transform into another kind of more, let's just say, into an asset that was liquid, that they could use to drive their medical educational mission forward. So they put the painting up for sale without announcing it, and it was purchased, where the agreement of sale was developed with one of the Walmart family heirs for her museum in Crystal Bridges, Arkansas. This raised a hue and cry in Philadelphia that this famous painting was going to lead not only Jefferson, but the city. And Eakins' legacy as a proto-modernist, an educator at PAFA, and a great talent was going to basically take this icon of Philadelphia art and culture out of the city limits and out of the state of Pennsylvania. Brad decided to explore what happened with the history of the painting from its creation, as its sort of fundamental connection with the history of medical arts in Philadelphia, and then look at what happened when it was suddenly going to be relocated. And his project was really kind of fascinating because it connected art history, it connected economics and finance, connected to cultural heritage, sociology and anthropological issues, all tied up with that. And he did that by taking classes in a range of subjects in this concentration that he called art, culture, and society. You can see some of them. He did a course on public performance art. He did a course on the power of vision. He did a course on fake, which was all about forgeries and how they impact our understanding of the power of that object. And he did courses on cultural heritage and conflict. And it was really kind of a fun and exciting project. It was great to read at the end. Yitian Sun, who was here as a student from China, did a really interesting project. Her concentration was in global studies. She took courses in screenwriting, language and society, cultural diversity, pop fiction, globalization, and other things, and decided that she wanted to explore some different things that happen in the new world, the global economy and global society, and how communication and new digital tools were being deployed. So one of the things that she got really fascinated by was the rise of a thing called the microblog, and how U.S. embassies use that to communicate with students and others interested in trying to get visas to travel to the United States from places like China and other countries in Asia. This was really kind of fun because it was a question of looking at cutting edge new communications channel that was going to be used for governmental purposes, and sort of exploit the comfort that people in Asia and in China were starting to have with social media as a way of getting information, and also how could, in response, the State Department and those embassies that are sort of the outward facing presence of the State Department and the US government abroad, meet people where they live and give them the information they need. It was really kind of fun. And I think it was a really great exploration of social media in society. Laura Greco did a really great project that nested inside her concentration she called Cultural Communication in Society. She had done creative writing courses, urban ethnography, globalization courses, and during her program of study, she sort of balanced between what she called a fun course and then a job-related course. She tried to make sure she was adding like sort of a range of skills to her toolbox for professional purposes, but at the same time then also stretching some muscles in areas like creative writing, fiction and nonfiction, things of that sort. And when she got near the end and developed the terms of her concentration, and we worked through what her classes all meant as a coherent unit, she realized she had two sort of competing interests at the end for a capstone. One was sort of the equivalent of a white paper about the way that universities recruit international students in this global phenomenon of extending education and bringing multiple people in to experience education at a place like Penn. And she also was interested in maybe doing a creative writing project. She wasn't sure which was more important. So we finally ended up sitting down and talking it out. And in that brainstorming session, realized that she was going to continue to explore, as a professional administrator, ideas about higher education, international education, admissions, policies, and the way that you could sort of not guide student behavior, but help students better understand what opportunities they have. She's going to do that the rest of her life as an administrator at university. She worked at Penn, now she's at Emory, closer to home where she grew up. And instead she decided meaning Laura, would write a creative nonfiction memoir about her family and about her family's history. It was going to be the theme that was going to connect every element with how the family understood who they are and their identity through family recipes that were part of her grandmother's cookbook. All recipes that she and her siblings and cousins learned to cook from their parents and from their grandmother, and she called it Eating the Family Trade. Really kind of fascinating, different approach to family identity and genealogy, which was really rewarding for her and a lot of fun, but also a great way for her to better understand the idea of how you tell a story about yourself and your family, which I think actually has professional implications for her as an admissions officer in higher ed as well. So it was really kind of fun and exciting. People take the MLA, enjoy the degree. They tell me all the time it's really fulfilling. They sort of figured out more about who they were and the things that are more important to them as they do their classes and develop their concentration rate, their capstone. But they also then do a lot of really great things afterwards because of the skills and the experiences that are part of their Master of Liberal Arts experience. Some students have gone on to pursue PhDs. We have students on faculty, both here and elsewhere. We have students in PhD programs, MBA programs, and other professional degrees ranging from Penn and Temple to places like Oxford, Berkeley, and places around the country, around the globe. We also have folks that advance their careers. We did a survey some years back, and I think near 98% of the people who applied, we had almost 400 people applied to the survey we sent to 600 something alumni, told us that they achieved sort of intellectual enrichment and fulfillment, which was their number one goal. But of that 98%, out of that 450 respondents, 83% said actually helped them professionally, even if they had not expected or originally intended it to be a professional credit in some way to their life outside of the classroom. So they found that the knowledge and confidence, their skill set, their communications skills all actually help them in the professional environment. And I think that's a really good sort of 1-2 punch where you really find out more about yourself and grow intellectually and develop professionally at the same time. A lot of recent alums have told me that this is really one of the things that also helps them commit themselves to lifelong learning and personal professional growth. And I think that's a great mindset to be in for all of us. We have a pretty straightforward admissions process. It's all online. You can go to the LPS website. You can Google Penn MLA, any way you can get there, and click on Apply Now or Apply or Admissions. You can see yourself pretty quickly into the program that will help you figure out how to get all the information to us that we need to review you to ultimately admit you and make you part of the MLA family. Admissions requirements are 2 essay questions, 2 academic or professional letters of reference. I really love academic references, but I know some people that have been out of school for a while may get bosses, colleagues, or other professional references, and that's a good thing because that tells us a lot about your maturity, self-motivation. People describe your skill set and give us a sense of just how capable you are of really doing things you need to develop and drive your own program forward. Because as a program director, advising over 100 students who are all doing individualized, unique programs, I can't tell you what to take. What I do is I kibitz, brainstorm, let you bounce ideas off me, and help you better understand why you want to do the Master of Arts and degree and how you're going to create your own concentration. So you're sort of driving this, and I'm your backseat driver. I kind of keep us from maybe scraping the guardrails instead of rolling off the road as we have this sort of exploratory journey through the liberal arts. We also require a resume. Tells us a lot about where you are now, how your academic experience fits into your professional life, transcripts from all your post-secondary institutions, and an application fee. Deadline for summer. We admit spring, summer, and fall. April 1st for summer. Summer starts late May. July 1st for fall, which starts at the end of August. And then I think it's November 1st for a January start term. We do rolling application. Right now, I think summer and fall are open. I don't know if next spring is open yet, but you can apply for summer or fall or whatever terms are open. As soon as your application is complete, we'll do a preview. I will review your application, and we'll decide if we want to extend an invitation to interview with us on the phone. Our office will reach out to you, set that up. And from start to finish, from complete preview, if we're timely in setting up that phone interview, we could have you an answer in 3 weeks to a month. So it's moved pretty quickly. And you don't need to wait till the deadline. So you could apply for fall now. If spring is open, which it may very well be, you could apply for next spring now, and you can get yourself lined up to be ready to go. But you also could decide, hey, I'm ready to take a class this summer. There's some cool things that Penn's offering. I'm ready to apply now, and I can get going in May and move towards your degree. Financial information. This current tuition and fees are $53.70. There's oftentimes an increase that comes over the summer for the following fiscal year and academic year. I don't know what that might be, but just figure it's between $500 and $5,500 per class. You're billed per class. There's no full-time tuition or part-time tuition. It's just by the class. Financial aid is available for U.S. citizens and permanent residents who are taking 2 or more course units in any given term or session. Full-time course of study for graduates is 3 or 4 courses. So if you're an international student or you want to come full-time, you need to be taking 3 or more courses. I usually recommend 3. I recommend doing this degree over a full-time 3 terms, perhaps, where you do 3, 3, and then 2 plus the capstone. Or you might do it over 4 terms, including the summer, 3, 3, 2 in the summer, and then just do the capstone as a standalone final full-time registration project. Same thing with undergrad. With part-time, there are a billion different ways to approach the degree in terms of how quickly you move along. So everybody does it differently, and I think that's really a great feature of the program is that we really want you to proceed towards the degree and create the concentration that's right for you and help you do what's right for you and make this good, personal, individualized, not just academic experience, but also sort of a personal journey. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have now that I've kind of went through these slides here. Maybe what I can do is, has anybody typed anything in the chat? No. if you have any questions, should we just unmute and you can ask your questions?
Hi there, Professor Pastore.
Hi, how are you, Kelsey?
I'm good. I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
The first one is, are language courses an option during this program, or is it primarily from different disciplines, not including languages?
It all depends, right? It's a 9-course unit program, and all the courses have to be graduate level. So right now, along with some other masters, we number things in the hundreds, from 0 up to 900. Graduate level for masters is 400 and above, because 400 are swing courses. So most courses for graduates are 500, 600, and 700 level. Most language courses, unless you're really advanced, are 100 to 200 level to get through like the language requirement. So if different story, PhD language courses in Romance and Spanish and German, they're 500 and 600 level. So it would depend on what level of language proficiency you have and which courses you would be able to take as to whether they could count. Now, that being said, there have historically been a couple of languages that were not traditional undergraduate languages that many people did as part of graduate programs. So, for example, German oftentimes is a second or third language for people doing academic disciplines. And so some German intro-level courses have a 500 level listing as opposed to a 100 level listing. So you can take them as graduate students and they could count. Similarly, there are some courses in, I think, some of the Asian languages and South Asian languages that might be offered at an introductory level, but also introductory level with a graduate cross listing, and they could count. But if, like myself, I did Italian, I did Italian Renaissance. I took 100 level, intro level courses, 3 terms in undergrad. When I had to do graduate additional Italian, I took it before I came to graduate school because none of them would have been for graduate credit because I wasn't far enough advanced in my Italian proficiency to take graduate level Italian classes. Right? So that's going to depend on, but I had a student who finished last year who was actually a French high school teacher. She wanted to do sort of a French studies program, and her fluency level was so high that she could take PhD level, get permits into PhD level French courses as part of her course of study. So those French literature and language courses did count towards her MLA.
Okay, thank you so much. My other question for you is, I am currently a PhD applicant at the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Decisions have not gone out yet, but I want to make sure I consider all of my options should this application season not go my way. Is this a program that I'd have to apply to again? Can I contact someone about moving my PhD application into this pool, or how would I go about that?
Okay. I think that Grad Arts and Sciences, the PhD arm of SAS. SAS is like 3 divisions. So one's Graduate Arts and Sciences, one's the College of Arts and Sciences undergrads, and one is us, LPS, Liberal Professional Studies. I think they use CollegeNet as well. I think you would have to do a separate application, but because you also applied to the PhD, if it's a second application in the same cycle, I think it would only charge you $10. And I think a lot of the stuff that you submitted with that application, like transcripts and all, could probably be migrated over. But I don't think you can. I don't think there's a lever you can pull that says, "Hey, move all my PhD stuff to the MLA."
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm not actually sure how CollegeNet, which is the program that runs behind all this, handles all that stuff. But certainly email me or Amy, and we could connect you with the admissions coordinators, and they could try and tell us how would this work for you to make it not a straight shot, but let's say the most efficient use of your time.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Let's hope you get into the PhD program you're interested in, and you're sailing and moving along. And this week would be a good, interesting plan B for you.
I would really hope that happens for me too.
What'd you apply to?
I applied for a PhD in English literature with a specialty in medieval literature.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great thing. Super competitive. I don't know what the numbers are now, but I always like to say that getting admitted doesn't mean that we're not admitted, doesn't rank you in terms of who's better or who's worse. And it's just a question of who fits. So it could very much well be that your area of specialty, maybe there's other applicants that were admitted last year that are working on PhDs with somebody, and that person is now stretched too thin. So that may mean the next year they're not going to admit any medievalists. They're only going to admit people that are doing African-American literature, right? For example, like I know doing art history, at the PhD level. It's always a question of the 12 people already in doing impressions with a 19th century person. They won't admit a 19th century person for the next couple of years. That kind of thing.
For sure. And Dr. David Wallace is a very popular faculty member in the school.
Sure.
So
yeah, there's some other great people though. I mean, I know
Emily Steiner.
Emily Steiner.
Yeah.
Now, has taught MLA courses, and she's really great. So
absolutely.
It might be a good way also if you're not admitted, it doesn't necessarily mean you weren't close. So coming in and doing courses through the MLA might be the way that, make sure that you can put your best foot forward for another go round.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Super. Any other questions?
Hi, Professor Pastore. My name is.
Hi.
Hi. I had a question about, is there a way to get in touch with alumni? I know that the programs are very specialized, but just to see if anyone in the past few years has followed a series of courses that would be interesting to me as well. Is there a way to get in touch with them?
I could try. What you would need to do is probably connect with me by email. Tell me what you want to study. What I could then do is I keep track. I have a spreadsheet of all the capstones that have been finished, a spreadsheet of all the concentrations that have been declared, and I add to them every term when some people finish. And I can say, let me going backwards, whose capstone, whose concentration sounds sort of like it was similar to what you did or you're interested in. And I'll open up their record, look at their transcript and say, hey, they took some classes that sound like the kind of stuff Lily wants to do. I could then email them and say, hey, we have a prospective student who's interested in studying some things that sound as if they were similar to what you did as you developed your MLA capstone and concentration. Would you be okay if I connected you with this student? So you could do that, right? We could see if we can solve it. The other thing you could do is that there's a Penn MLA Facebook page. I'm not super active on it. I try to stay out of social media as much as possible. But there are students who have posted things on there, current students, alumni, and prospects. And if you go there, you might be able to put out, hey, I'm interested in the Penn MLA. This is what I want to study. Is there anybody else who's on this Facebook page who has any insight? So you might be able to, sort of scurry about there and see if you can connect with somebody. But your best thing might be to just email me. I'm going to put my email address in the chat. Email me directly, because if you go through the LPS email address, it has to go through triage and it goes to another software program that I have to open separately from email. If you email me directly, then we're in dialogue about what you're trying to do and how we're going to get there, and sort of get a sense of what trajectory you're looking at, what points on the horizon you want to try and get to or go towards, and we can help you navigate.
Great, thank you so much. I will send you an email.
Yeah, great. Any other questions?
I have one other question.
Oh, sure.
What would you say acceptance rates are like usually?
Somewhere between like 60 and 65%. Now, one thing that I've tried to do since I've been the program director since, I guess 2006 maybe, is make sure that what we put out on our website, now, of course, that's always a tussle between me and marketing, who manages all the content, if you will, is to make sure that people know, if you want to do the MLA, I need to see this kind of previous academic success. I need to see this kind of GPA, this kind of professional background, and this kind of sense of self-motivation in your essays and in your reference letters, the stick-to-itiveness, he can get this done kind of note, right? So I try to force people to be really, really self-aware. And if an MLA is not right for you because you really, really, really want an MBA award, don't apply so that I have to reject you. So my goal is to try and make the admissions rate higher by having people not apply unless they're admissible, right? Which is good, because I'm not a cohort program. I don't have a cap. I don't have a target. I don't need, basically all applicants are in competition with their own academic and personal and professional portfolio that comes to us through the application for our sort of holistic review. So I try to make that application admissions rate as high as possible by making sure that people don't apply who I don't think can succeed here, not because they can't do the work, but because it's not really right for them in terms of the environment and the subject matter. So if you really should be studying finance because of your business interests, please don't do an MLA and try and figure out how to do Wharton classes, right? So I try to convince people to not apply if I don't think they can be admitted. But we're not like, by contrast, the PhD programs that might admit 8 people out of 400 applicants.
Okay, got it. Thanks for that clarity.
And one thing that does do is that means I usually try to make sure that people that want to apply to MLA or really have a good sense of what their options and opportunities will be in the program, that they know this is a good fit for them before they actually give us $75 and hit submit on the application. So then when I review them, they're really admissible because that's why otherwise they wouldn't have bothered hitting submit, right? Because I would have talked them out of it in advance. But it also means that then our yield, meaning the number of people who apply and are admitted who then attend and take classes, is very high. And then our retention rate and degree completion rate is like 73, 74% over our lifetime, which is actually the same retention rate as graduate programs here that are fully funded, right? So students pursuing a PhD with TA-ships and funding, they don't finish their degrees more regularly than MLA students who are doing this on top of work, family, and other logistical things. So I think it's a very rewarding program because we really try to match up students who have the drive to do it, the intellectual passion and curiosity to build their own program, and we try to get them in the classroom and let them run, let them have their head, and let them get where they want to go. And I think we offer pretty good support here in the Division of Liberal Professional Studies offices. Our admissions and enrollment management team is really good at helping you with everything from navigating your bill to making sure that your pen email is working right, to those of us at the program end and then the faculty end. Make sure you have the right kind of academic conversations to take most advantage of the university here at Penn. Any other questions that you might have that I could answer? Okay, well, if not, I really invite you all to email me. As I said, I just sent my email out on the chat. Email me directly. Any question you have is worth throwing out there, and we'll try and help you figure out what's the next best step for you going forward, whether it's to pursue the MLA, or it's just to take classes to beef up graduate school applications or something else. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sure, my pleasure.